Hey, welcome to another episode of the vlog. I've got some things to share with you on what I've been doing over the past week, and let's just dive right into it. Number one, I did start Uber. If you missed my previous episode on what it was like to sign up with Uber and my first day, so on and so forth, go ahead and check out my previous video. That way you're kind of prepared for this one. So yeah, Uber. I've been going back to the gym. It's been about a year since I've been at the gym, and I used to go to the gym a lot, and I'm slowly starting to get back into it now. So it's really exciting. I'm trying not to hit it too hard this week as far as the gym goes because I'm not trying to be too sore while I do other things. But I did go twice last week. I really wanted to try to hit the gym a few more times, but just from those 2 days, my body was wiped out. I overslept on some days, and I just chose not to go to the gym as much as I wanted to, but it's a big step from not actually going to the gym at all. So there's that. Since last week, I've been adjusting my eating habits as well. So on certain days, I do intermittent fasting, and I try to watch what I eat. I'm adding a lot more vegetables to my diet. I used to look a lot skinnier. When I was working on ships, I lost a lot of weight. I'd say I lost about 10 to 12 pounds. Here's what I looked like at the beginning of last year. And here's what I look like now. I'm also working on a new duo promo video. The last one I uploaded was for a trio. That one's for a demographic that's a little bit different. The duo that I'm creating with Isaac is a lot more hip, a lot more fresh. So go ahead and check that one out when you get a chance. All the descriptions are down below, or you can see some links at the end of this video. Anyway, what I really want to talk about in this video is my experience driving with Uber for 5 days. I went over some stats on day 1, but now that we have 5 days of data, I can finally share that with you. So let me go ahead and lay out some data for you so you can find out whether or not driving for Uber is for you, how much it makes, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at some of the data. As far as the hours I worked on Monday, I worked almost 12 hours on Monday. I made $138. Now I spent $24.23 on gas. That was just to fill up my tank. I did 20 trips that day. Now Tuesday, you can see that I did a little over 12 hours, made $158 and some change, and I only spent about $9.46, did 20 trips. All right, now Wednesday, I ended up doing about 7.5 hours of work, made $126. That was a really good day. The big fluctuation there is because of tips. Also more on that later. Now expenses, I spent $25.89, again filling up on gas, and I only did 12 trips. Now on Thursday, I did about 5.5 hours of work, and I made about $94, so again, another really good day. As far as expenses goes, I filled up my tank again for $25. That day, I only did about 10 trips. So on Friday, I worked about 13.5 hours. I made somewhere around $233. And I spent $20, again, filling up the tank. And I did about 34 trips. So if we take a look at this data and we take all of the totals, you'll see that the total number of hours worked is somewhere around 50 hours. And the total that I made throughout the week is approximately $751. Minus expenses, which comes to about $104, and total trips is 96. My total profit loss is a profit of $646, about. I keep saying about because sometimes you'll get actual cash tips, and sometimes people will want a ride, and maybe you don't want to exactly go through Uber to do that because they're going to take their cut. Plus, when they make a request, they get sent to the nearest Uber, but sometimes you don't actually register as the closest Uber. I had a guy try to register me. He was right next to my car, but it went to somebody else. But he wanted to ride with me, so he just gave me some cash. So if we take the total profit and divide that into the number of hours, hourly, we're talking about $13 an hour. Now, it could be more, could be less. It definitely fluctuates, but over the course of 5 days, we're talking about $13 an hour, which is okay. It's not glamorous by any means, and that also includes all tips, and that's minus expenses, things like that. So it's not bad, considering I can get $13 an hour on average pretty much whenever I want. So the bottom line here is, based on 5 days of data, Uber drivers make about $13 an hour bottom line. Now, this is also not including taking taxes out. By the way, I'm only doing Uber, I'm not doing Lyft. I'll do that later to fill in the gaps, but right now Uber is really handling the business pretty well. So, if you are an Uber driver or you're considering doing Uber, here's some tips for you. Number one, make sure you have a car that's very economic on fuel. So if you got like a Prius, or if you even have an electric vehicle, that's great. Just be wary of the range on your electric vehicle. That would be ideal because you wouldn't really have to spend any money on gas. Number two is be aware of what spots you're going to. Now, this is a bit of a learning curve if you don't want to do too much research, but some things to consider. Go to places where there's a lot of people. So one thing to consider when you're thinking about location is that just because you choose a location doesn't mean you're gonna stay there. And Uber doesn't let you know exactly where you're gonna go when you get a request. So there isn't a lot of control when it comes to how much money you're gonna make just by driving around a busy area. So for example, you could go downtown on a Friday night and it's really busy, it's really packed. You might get somebody who requests you and all of a sudden they wanna drive to Redondo Beach and now you're stuck out there. So you don't really know where you're gonna be. Uber doesn't make it easy to trick the system. But also, just a point of advice, don't be that driver who when you find out that you have to take them somewhere that's far away, you get all pissy about it because it's part of the job and you get more money that way. It's not so bad when you're driving a hybrid. Another thing to consider is the wear and tear on your vehicle. I'm aware that this is gonna put a lot of miles on my vehicle. Over the course of 5 days, I've probably driven about 700 miles or so. And I could imagine that if I'm driving a lot, probably closer to 1,000. So if we kind of extrapolate that data, if you're driving full time, driving 1,000 miles a week, and you're driving every single week, that's 52,000 miles per year. Most people drive anywhere from 10 to 20,000 per year. So you're driving 3 times more than the regular individual. So that's a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle. Another tip, be careful of buying food on the go. Bring food. Another tip is being aware that you're not really going to be able to get out of the car exactly when you want. Sometimes it doesn't make it very easy if you're stuck in traffic. So anyway, this video is a lot longer than I really wanted it to be, but I know there's a lot of people considering doing Uber and Lyft, some type of rideshare app. So definitely consider those points if you are going to be a driver. So even though there are some challenges with being an independent contractor with Uber and being an Uber driver, just the fact that you're able to turn it on and make money whenever you want is such an amazing feeling. And specifically as a freelancer, if work is slow, I don't want to have to worry about paying my bills, so Uber allows me to fill in the gaps while still pursuing my passion. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Obviously, I'm going to continue to do Uber as long as it remains practical for me. So if you guys are interested in seeing more stats on how Uber's going, or have any questions for me as far as the job goes, go ahead and like this video. Maybe you got some comments or questions, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. Other than that, make sure you subscribe so you can help become a deciding factor in what type of videos that I make, what type of information that I share with you guys. I want to make this as valuable and entertaining as possible. I really appreciate the time that you spend here on my channel. So anyway, as usual, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Hey everyone, this is Austin.